They don't like it when you isolate two of their players, and instead they'll try and chase you down. G2 will survive. Caps gives a bit of a questioning glance with the emote there, and now G2 will just go back and farm up the mid wave. It's, yeah, whatever Koi try and do just is met by an unstoppable force at the moment that is this G2 lineup.
Yeah, it's a bit too hard to tank inhibitor towers at this point, by the looks of it. Broken Blade took a shot or two and then backed away. Baron spawning in 20. I think G2 are going to reset, move back out onto the map, start up the Baron, look for a turn. Their turn is really strong. Heimerdinger ult with E, Varus ult, Sejuani ult. If anyone walks up, they are going to get CC'd, and G2 will turn.
That's a 5.2k goal difference between the junglers.
Yeah, we can have a quick look at the total goal for everyone.
Morello first item. I know LS is sitting at home. He's sipping his tea, ready for some good LEC top tier action. He sees that.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think we could say much bad about Matrang's itemization in this game. Right? Like, the guy was given pennies, Cajun.
You're really gonna flame him for going Morello first? Leave the man alone!
Poor Malrang.
He's got less gold than Mickey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Malrang
he's almost Flame Horizon. He is Flame Horizon at 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. It's definitely one where... Hang on a second, Caps.
Going for comp, hits him with Glacial Prism, like Yikes on the chase as well. Can't quite find it.
Don't have enough damage.
Ultimate form has timed out there for a second. Baron obviously an option to regenerate that, but from now he will be in that less imposing Belveth form, and I'm sure Koi will be very happy to have to deal with, you know, a less powerful Yike.
What I will say, like, because I think we can all agree this game feels over.
Yeah, I think we agreed that about 5 minutes in.
You've played against G2 before, Cadril.
Yep.
One of the really frustrating things I imagine you experience when preparing draft is, so we can ban this. We could ban all of the meta stuff. We could pick all of the best meta stuff, and you feel like that they still have an endless champion pool, right? And then game 2, like, this is a prime example of it, right? You expect the Sejuani, you expect something a little bit more traditional meta, and even we, after game 1, were saying you remove the Nautilus, and that's actually where G2 have looked their shakiest, because, well, the bot side of the map, if they're not, like, hard-winning 2 versus 2, it feels like the G2 don't feel as strong as they normally are. And then what happens? They've created this mid-jungle duo that just terrorizes the entire map. So how do you even approach a team like this that seems like that they can carry through any lane and have so much versatility in terms of their draft?
Some questions are hard to answer, and I think that's one of them. Where it's like, hey,
Really?
Cajun, they have all of these strengths.
Yeah.
How do you stop them? And it's kind of like, well, the only thing you can really do is kind of look in the mirror and say, let's play our own style, get our own OPs, and if they want to do crazy shenanigans and make it whack and wild...
Well, what did you do when you played against
Well, we lost, obviously. What do you expect?
You had all of these draft strategies, did you win? No, 0-3.
Actually, we beat them once.
Was that cool Urgot game where you had like a crazy thing around
G2,
Baron?
no.
That wasn't against G2?
I played a Nocturne game against them once, and I went like 9-0, but we lost.
Really?
Yeah. Baron taken for G2 now.
Spring 2019. But yeah, no, they're a really formidable team when you have so much flexibility in draft. It's really hard to guess where anything's going, but also what to ban, because you don't know where anything's going, kind of. So yeah, you can see it, that 4-5, right? You think they said you want to go jungle.
Shigenda just TP'd to this tower, and he is already dead as Yike goes godlike. G2 are pushing for the win. As much as I like story time with the lads, I think the end of the game might be very imminent. Here it goes.
Imminent.
Imminent.
Here it comes. Hansama. I thought he was tanking the tower for a second then. The first tower will drop. Koi faltering. Damage just from the E of Hansama.
Yike's going forward. He's looking for more. Once the kill onto Trimsy, Hansama takes it instead. Comp and Marang forced back into the fountain. Larson forced to the last remaining turret on the map for Koi. And in one of the most convincing games I have seen in a long, long time, G2 will go 2-0 up over Koi. The fastest ever best of 5 in Europe was 74 minutes and 31 seconds between G2 and Origin in 2019 spring. The finals after that obviously was the G2 Fnatic finals in Athens.
The banger.
It was
the fastest international final was G2 versus Team Liquid.
So
that got beaten, didn't it?
Oh, maybe
G2, I think when they lost to Dom1,
where there was that 18 minute.
I think that ended up being the fastest international best of 5.
How long has this best of 5 been going on?
I was going to find that out as well. But you brought up the stat before I know. So I will know when I know.
I'm the problem. Yes, it's me, hi.
Anyway, Koi on the blue side once again. They're going to get rid of the Maokai and the Draven. Caitlyn, Silas taken away by G2. No real surprises so far.
No, Ashe Elise are the next 2. Is it going to be a run back? Do they ban Ashe here? I think banning Ashe is a mistake, personally. I think they should force G2 to ban it in first picket. kind of gives him a semi-free ban, but we'll see what they do here. So there we go, Elise ban. A bit different, but I think now G2 can just match, but we'll see what they opt into and they think is the problem.
Will Sejuani be the first pick for Koi? Ash
Well,
being banned away,
it's
there it
open.
is, just as you talked about, K-Draw.
So yeah, now I think Sejuani first pick is just, this eases your draft up a lot. You're not trading too hard.
You can see the players laughing. They're like, haha, G2, now what will you do?
And now they look in Zac. Surprise.
I mean, we haven't seen the Lilia yet from G2, still could come out. Often very good into tank matchups because of the pace of your wave clear and how well you scale as well. But G2 wouldn't be surprised to see an AD carry locked in here. And just as I mentioned it, the hover's coming through right now for G2. They may very well do a Lilia Jace. Could be an option. Lilia Tristana, something that we've seen from them as well. Lilia Varus.
Yike is 3-0 on his Lilia so far in Winter. Has had a very strong performance. The Anivia hover that we kind of expect from Yike. I will say, Kedra, we have the numbers.
Okay.
If G2 win this game in 22 minutes and 16 seconds, they tie. Anything less than that, is the quickest best of 5 we've had in Europe.
22 minutes.
Well,
16
knowing
seconds.
us, knowing the LEC, knowing that we've dug up these stats,
It's not going to be reverse sweep.
It's going to be this
reverse sweep.
Yeah.
And it'll be the longest ever series.
Something like that's going to happen.
Last minute, 87-minute banger.
Yeah, 5,000 CS Sivir.
There's the Tristana, though. Gives you that damage portfolio that you were talking about earlier on. I bet he's been frequenting Wall Street bets, it seems, as he's trying to work out if he needs to hodl or if he needs to buy.
Ooh, okay.
Sivir
You know what the Koi saying is, right? When in doubt, pull the Zir Sivir out. You know, just about kids. We're scaling, and you ain't stopping us from wave clearing the whole game away.
Into that, G2 might look for an aggressive bot lane.
You know, part of me thought that they were going to go Vayne for a second.
Vayne into his ear. Ooh, that would be tough.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Kalista
I mean,
also sounds
Kalista
a bit
Ali
tough, but
sound like a Kalista Alistar into the Sivir. That feels pretty good.
yeah, I think they can double ban support though. But
I
it's
mean,
probably
sure.
like going down the list: Alistar, Nautilus, Leona, something along those
So,
lines. Even Varus here on
Last
4
week,
could work.
when we saw G2 go for a Lilia Tristana Draven, the whole idea behind the composition was actually very much a kite back and then re-engage, leverage your range to have them come into you, and then you look for your opportunity to re-engage. Very similar style, once again, from G2. A lot of basically kiting ability to disengage, create space between you and your opposition, and basically make it difficult for them to approach. I think Koi need more CC. I'd like to see something like a Gnar, maybe even a melee support, just something that can help them start these fights, because right now, G2 is a difficult team to lock down.
I would also say the flip side of, like, I think Sivir Karma here, kiting back and playing range can work, to be honest. I don't think you need, like,
That's an
committal
alternative,
CC.
true.
Do you really want to engage into double AD carry? I think if Nautilus hooks in, double AD carry, just free hits, you're dead. But if you play range, the AD carries have to commit, and then I think that's when Koi can turn.
Especially if you add another strong frontline tank up towards the top lane. You could go Cassante, you could go Sion, then you have that line at which you cannot cross. Braum as well would work in that sort of idea. If you just want to try and kite back. So G2 getting rid of the Renata and the Braum does lead me towards thinking maybe something like an Alistar or Nautilus. Very possible hit for them on...
I swear, if they pick Alistar and they flex in mid somehow, because Alistar mid has been cropping up in
AP ratio is about on 13.3 and we're on 13.1B. It could still happen.
Yes.
I remember the good old days of Sheen Alistar top where you could punch someone mid-air as you were knocking them up.
Good catch. Yeah, good catch. You saved me there. So what support do they go for? You said Alistar. I think Alistar would work really well. Nautilus would just be my easy go-to,
Sure.
I think, here, because it's Mickey's bread and butter. But Leona's taken away. Good brown band. That's just kind of negating their idea of wanting to go midi support. Rakan could also work.
Yeah.
If you want to just go Kalista Rakan here, but I think, yeah, you might struggle against something like Sivir Naut.
That's the
just
Naut,
pick
though.
up the Nautilus.
Yeah, Nautilus works really well in this composition. It does exactly what you want it to do, and Mickey obviously very practiced on the champion. It's most played so far this split. I think he has 6 games on it now. Koi look towards top and support. Now, how do you deal with Kalista, Nautilus in the bottom lane?
It's a good question. Leona ban stings them a bit, actually. Maybe picking Leona here would be not too bad. Picking Karma into Nautilus is a struggle, but I think they've done the same thing. They banned a top laner and a support.
Yeah.
If you could ban Nautilus Leona there and play up against Alistar, at least you have a stronger level 1.
True.
But yeah, they're going to go Gnar. I think Camille here on 5 for Broken Blade is a no-brainer. They're actually just going to sack the lane if they go Rakan, but...
Heimer gives you good push in the lane and always has quite good damage if the enemy is pushing into you. Like Nautilus wants to engage, you put down a turret, it can be a bit tricky for the Nautilus to escape that sort of situation. And gives you the turrets to put in front of the hook. So
A lot of contemplation right now coming out from Koi, and it will be the Heimerdinger. All right, so they have a a little bit more utility with the Gnar when it comes to team fights. And they do also have a bit of follow-up CC alongside the Heimerdinger thanks to his bouncing grenades. I would say that this is a pretty traditional front-to-back teamfight comp from Koi. They do have good mobility with the form of the Sivir engage, potential flank options if Gnar can find a way into the backline. Whereas G2, well, they kind of do G2 things where they have a lot of ability to kite back. I would say that their engage isn't the strongest. They don't have the easiest time being able to start fights, but this was also my concern when we saw a similar comp last week from them. Yet what they were able to do was kind of, they forced Mad Lions into an engage onto them, and they would look for those re-engages, and then they would pick apart their opposition. And the thing about these comps is that you don't really have access onto either backline. Like, G2 can't really threaten the Sivir or the Azir, and the same can be said for G2's backline. The difference is that the Olaf can be the big difference maker in these team fights. How much threat can it pose onto the Sivir? How easily can it disrupt what the Azir wants to do in team fights? And this is where the how do I say it? Like, the place of battle is very important. Being first in the objective, forcing your opposition to walk into you, basically controlling the space and getting your opposition to play into how you want to play the fight is going to be very important.
I think G2 just have a really good mid-game. Skirmish heavy going forwards. Kalista, Nautilus, Olaf engage. And Koi have good scaling. A lot of wave clear. Hold on a little bit. Use Malrang as a bridge. And see what they can do to contest those dragon fights. Think it should be an easy stacking for G2 in the first few. And then I think Koi will start fighting back a bit.
Of course, reminder that Koi find themselves down 2 games right now. We'll see if they can bounce back as we jump into game 3.
We see the Fnatic fans have now gone for the TSM charts. 2 teams that are equally relevant in European League of Legends right now. So, I'm sorry.
Medic.
I couldn't hold it back.
I thought you were going to go like, well, they've jumped from Fnatic to Koi to this, but no, you just went for a headshot.
Yeah, that wasn't even like catching us straight. That was just straight up.
There we go. Back to the Koi charts. Let's see if Koi can vamos and manage to pressure G2 in this game, get towards that late game team fight composition that will work so well for them. Caps having to take W level 1 there just to jump away, make sure he gets to safety. And we'll see both junglers starting on the top side of the map right now. Caps, let's have a quick look at his runes. Let's see if he's gone Demolish. He has. I think when we saw Larson take the Demolish Tristana in the mid lane, he didn't get a single Demolish proc off.
Sorry, just a delivery of that made me giggle.
He has. But we'll see if in this game, Caps is able to use that Demolish effectively. Might just be using it in different lanes, of course, as Caps once again jumps away from the Koi bot lane.
All right, be honest. Whose toaster have we voted up onto? Okay, I see the FPS issues.
Yeah, we see the FPS issues. It's on our side as well, so
we are getting that rectified as quickly as possible, obviously.
We can watch the PowerPoint of Koi versus G2 bot lane.
And here on slide 1, you can see the Raptors will be killed by Ike.
It's like in solo queue when you had like an Ivan top and they'd send you the PowerPoint presentation. It's like, hey guys, here's why to watch LEC.
Yeah.
Slide number 1, junglers taking camps. Slide number 2, bot lane pressure.
Cage will fix
the game.
What is it?
Cage will fix the game. Cage will fix the game.
Man.
Cage roll, come on.
I'm going to change the topic because I'm working on it. And I've just fixed it for you. No, I haven't.
Oh. Under promise, over deliver, Cage roll is the motto in these sorts of situations. As Caps looks for some damage onto Larson, trying to get that explosive shot up so he can get his W resets, couldn't quite land it. Comp having to jump away here. Flash is coming out as well. Malrang, though, on the bottom side of the map as Comp is ticking. No level 2 yet for Trimby and Comp, but they will get it off this wave. Mickey, now not in the best of shapes, has to flash away.
Wow. So G2
goes
is going back in.
Of course he does. It's Mickey.
That hook was so strong that it fixed the frames, and we're back in the action.
Nice.
The PowerPoint is over. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. And now we're back into Summoner's Rift in Hans and Mickey getting off to a good early game start of the 2v2. Managed to force out 2 Summoners out of comp there, but Malrang's response came back to bite them a little bit. Yike trying to force Malrang back. No camps down here, though. I think he's scared of Yike going and attacking his bot side, but it looks like they're going to base.
I don't really blame him for Yike being pretty strong and pretty scary, as on Lilia he's gone 3-0 so far in the LEC. He looks for a mid gank here. Gonna dive last, and they're gonna do it as they go in. Cap splashes away, but Marang's in the right place at the right time. First blood. Yike tanks up a tower.
Oh my god!
Oh, it's a tragedy.
I just put up a graphic saying how good he was.
Oh my god, that was disgusting.
Oh no.
I need to fix my eyes.
No, no.
Oh, yike. It happens, it happens.
Yikes.
We've all been there. We've all been there. But
yeah.
the problem is, we've been there when we flash on the wall. You know, we're not that far away from the wall. We try anyway. So Caps tanks straight away.
The idea is to get the reset by proccing the bomb and then W back out again. He also has the flash, but Marang's in a position. And then Yike trying to get close to the get close to the wall to flash over it, but he flashes a little too soon. And you can
Caps and
see
Yike are laughing.
they're both laughing.
Yike's just cracking up in the background.
Yeah. We've all done it.
I knew this was going to be a reverse sweep. I told you. I told you something's going to go haywire.
Yep.
But yeah, G2 trying to get that dive off. Larson sitting very pretty. Malrang, it was a nice flash by Caps, I will say. He predicted Malrang's Q flash to try to stop him and get him an extra tower shot, but yeah, damage was enough to get the kill.
Can I ask you a question, K-Draw? How often do you see Swifties on a Sejuani?
Legend. That's what I say. First base gets a kill by Swifties. Now, let's see how many... Should we count how many camps...
Either we're killing them or I'm running it. One of the two guys.
I need us to count how many camps Malrang does ever since he's come back from base now, because he's on 0. So we'll see what he does. He needs to clear his top side, so surely he gets to at least 4.
Well, actually, I think he's going straight to enemy raptors.
Crab's up. We'll pick
Crab.
that one up.
Okay,
Does that count as a camp?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll give it to him. Okay, 1.
Well, we don't have to sit here and do it all day, you know, but
No,
I'm
no,
saying,
well,
like,
I'll
I'm
keep track of
intrigued
it,
to
it's
see, because I
fine.
feel like he's going to run mid now, and he's not going to go to his top side. As I say that, Yike's hovering around as well.
But do they really have kill threat with Azia? I don't think there's
Need to
much
get
of a
6,
gank
I
mid.
think, yeah.
Larson's only halfway to 6.
I think the only thing that you would do in mid would be to try and relieve the pressure of a potential dive or a potential kill, but I think Larson's pretty safe. He's a little low on mana, but aside from that, top lane, on the other hand, could be a little more volatile.
Ghosting lands the undertow on Shigenda, who tried to jump away. Has to flash.
Damn, okay.
Marang's on his way up as well, and Yike keeps him at bay.
I actually like the idea of the Swifties because he's against Lilia. Now, it's going to suck later on, but he can at least, like, outpace her a tiny bit in the early game. That's the only logic I have. But I feel like plated steel caps against Olaf, Tristana, Kalista is a must. But if you're asking for my opinion, it's bad, but I can see why it's good.
He's going to sell them and buy plated steel.
I mean, but
definitely
also, if him having Swifties negates Yike's pressure in the early game or lets him get a couple of ganks off, it's worth to buy them
He
and
also
sell
has
them,
Conqueror, which is also another interesting one.
Broken Blade. Oh, Malrang's here, though. Yike looking for it. Shigenda trying to build up their Mega Gnar. Can't quite get it. No flash on the Gnar. Remember, Broken Blade flashing forward, but he can't get in range. The undertow, he doesn't have the mana for it.
It's a Conqueror! Look at the Conqueror!
Look at it go! Look at him! No need to farm camps when you can farm foes as he gets Yike underneath the tower. And remember, no Yike, no flash. The swirl seed wide. And the Swifty boys are here to party!
Malrang and Shigenda win out on the top side 2v2. Koi are now winning both solo lanes off the back of Malrang's swiftness boots Conqueror Sejuani, just turning the tides. Creative genius.
It's just so damn fast, K-Draw.
He really is. I mean, he kept up with the Olaf. The tier 2 boost Lilia, whatever it was that Yike had, couldn't get away with the passive stack. And
This is real League of Legends right here.
This is none of
He
that,
stays
none of
in
that
fog
farming
as well.
None of that farming
He
stuff.
waits for the right moment before he engages. The target is Broken Blade. Tries to apply the passive as quickly as he can. The shield will proc, but it's not enough to keep him alive as he runs out of mana. Can't get close to Shigenda. And Shigenda able to get a little bit of health back. Means that they can then lock up Yike. And Yike tries to be clever here, using the Fog of War to catch Shigenda out, but he doesn't fall prey to the trap. And he just bides his time.
Good auto spacing from Malrang as well, weaving in the auto attacks. So early game lead for Koi. One of the first times in this series, I believe, that they're now in a very good position. I think G2's comp is very early mid-game centric, and Koi's is very late game centric, and they're already ahead.
Let's not forget game 1, Koi were able to get a pretty sizable advantage too. They did go 3-0 in the early kills. And then there was that unfortunate bot incident with the 2v2 kills. Yeah, so
bot incident.
Let's see how things progress. For the time being, Hansama has hit level 6. He does have a small lead, but I imagine that'll be neutralized as this wave will be wiped away by the Civet. The dragon is up, and it looks like that with the pressure that they have in bot and mid, Yike will be able to secure the first objective for G2. Herald is up, and it wouldn't surprise me once the straight gets secured that Malrang immediately goes to that objective as well.
As expected, G2 get first strike. I think they'll get second as well. I mean, they have so much bot push, so much skirmish potential. Caps can get mid push whenever he wants as well, or at least join his team, but he's doing the same thing as last game. Caps I've noticed this whole series. When his jungler's on one side, he will go to the other to get information. See if they're on Herald, see if they're on this crab, see if they're giving blue. He'll never lean to help the jungler. So, I mean, it is a positive in itself. I mean, the only negative is you can get caught really easily and die.
Yeah.
But as long as you're on the limits, it does give you a bit more information.
I mean, he is a little safe on the Tristana as well, right?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Mawang, Glacial Prism, yike! Caught out in his jungle. Like Bambi taken down by the boar there.
This has got to feel good for Mawang after last game.
Yeah.
The fact that his jungle is being torn apart. Hansama with the ult.
Yeah, Trimmy needs to flash that, gets the stun onto Hansama as well. Mickey could still look for the chase, but the turret goes down, and so no hook can connect. Cap stepping forward here, just wants the plate, he wants the plate, but the plate isn't what you can take. Larson unwilling to give it up. Cap's able to jump away though, does still have the flash here.
Calculated.
And in the end, he gets the plate and gets out.
Worth.
Didn't have to burn a summoner.
Hashtag worth.
Mickey flashing forward. Trimby though lands the stun. Hansama now cleansing away, but this isn't the best of places
Mickey.
to be. Mickey ignited, ticking down, will be able to survive, but the engage coming for naught there for G2.
These laners just love walking up, even in disadvantageous positions, without flash, whatever it may be. They want to get the wave in, they want to get those plates, and they will fight you for it. And if you don't fight them back, they'll get away with it. Koi are fighting back, getting summoners out of G2's bot lane there, almost all of them blown.
I was a little surprised to see
Actually, all of them
Hansama cleanse, flash in, and then immediately run away because he realizes, I've put myself in the middle of all of these Heimerdinger turrets and the enemy's minion wave. Perhaps this was not the smartest investment of my
But
flash.
at least he did it.
But he did do it, yes.
And he got out.
Did
That's
it
the-
work?
that
No,
was
but
a-
did he do it? Yes.
That was a thing that he did, yep. Comp does, of course, still have the flash, and Koi find themselves with a 2k gold lead in this early game. You talked about some of the scaling advantage that they do have. We'll see if they're able to hold on to it. Next Dragon in about 3 minutes' time. The Herald is, of course, available for Malrang, and his ultimate is up soon. Hang slash there from Mickey. Caps goes in.
Looking for the damage.
Oh, he tried to ult flash him backwards into Mickey.
Yeah, that
Oh.
didn't work.
I mean, you can do it. You can pre-buffer ult and then
Yeah,
flash
you can
behind
do it
them.
if you flash behind the person.
Yeah.
If you flash in front of them, they just get knocked away.
The flashes this game from G2 mid jungle have been suspect.
Questionable, I agree. Malrang.
Oh, Malrang.
So now this didn't work out too well for Comp and Trimby, but maybe if we add Malrang into the mix,
Oh, it's good, man.
they can look for it.
Just let him cook.
Just let him cook.
They also have
No
Wait a
cleanse on
minute.
hands.
The
Here
Rift
it comes.
House.
And
Surprise.
there it is.
There it is! He cooked up a spicy meal for Hansama. And Hans will be feeling that one in the morning as Malrang now can put the Rift Tower down. If he wants, they could just look for the first plate and then Rift Tower. They could even not use the Rift Tower at all.
That's just such a massive gain for the Koi bot lane as well, because so many minions were lost, along with the plates secured and the Herald drop. Yike now trying to cross map, but I don't think he can really get much here.
Yeah, Shigenda should be able to live, right? Jump forward, floating lullaby a possibility. Rift Tower charged in. We look down towards the bottom lane as Caps kills Trimby somehow. Okay, so Trimby was walking up to try and get vision, and Caps is just waiting there for him.
Yeah, I think he just landed on top of him. But
Yep.
again, Caps moves out of lane and Larson gets plates. And in the games where G2 can make plays happen, it's fine because your teams and your side lanes are snowballing. But this Azir is getting a CS lead. It's got 2 plates. And as much as it's been a bit of a funny game from G2, these mistakes are costing them. I think this game is running out of its control. G2 needs to start forcing plays in the next minute or two around this next Dragon, around this next Herald, and make sure when Nash time comes, at least the game is even. That's not a good state, but at least it's a state they can play in.
That's really good from Shigenda. Yike was looking for the 900 damage smite there, but couldn't get it because Shigenda comes across. So the blue buff reset twice, and Yike wastes, about 20, 30 seconds of his time.
Huge credit again for Malrang for this early game. I think that last game he did what he could, was able to steal away that blue buff and then look for a Hex flash
cut
gank
some
into
healing.
top lane. But, oh, I gotta have a look back at this play.
He's on a ward here, Caps.
Oh,
But Trimby doesn't know that he's on a ward. He tried to poke him.
I see, okay. Yeah.
And it's the jump again. presume. And
Yep.
he jumps over the wall.
Easy kill for Caps there.
Nice
Trendy.
deduction, K-Draw.
Yeah.
Not much that he could do really about that one.
Hop, skip, jump.
But yeah, Koi off to a fantastic lead, and as you said, their scaling is very good. Means that it's much easier to be able to get first onto the objectives and force G2 to walk into them, which is exactly the place that Koi want to be in. Dragon spawning in about 30 seconds time. Comp is resetting right now, but Maurang is out on the map, and Larson is here to catch this mid wave as well.
He is indeed. Bit of a weird lane state here. Hans Smith, yeah, Caps coming back towards bot. CFG2 try to mix it up. Dragon spawning in 15, so I don't think they'll care too much. Can move towards his objective, start a fight. Mickey, Hex Flash coming up. Wonder if he used it there. Koi, as much as they're ahead in this early stage, G2's champs are pretty strong right now. Is it worth fighting over this dragon?
You don't have to, right? You can just
TP top, so
keep getting your gold leads, place a ward in here, but as you say, Shigenda TPing top just means they're looking for more plates. Broken Blade's worked his way all the way down from the top
does
lane.
have Q and Flash.
nah, no chance, right? He's gonna go for it.
Doesn't look like it. Doesn't want to gamble it against Hans Summers, Callista.
Yeah, Broken Blade's there. Shigenda's top. Push in the lanes and take bases. I think Koi is happy to give that dragon up, and G2's way of scaling through this game is dragons. It's gonna have to be this Infernal Soul. They're gonna have to fight the third, fight the fourth, and if they can't get those two, it's only gonna get worse from that point onwards. A lot of gold over to Shigenda. My God,
3
Broken Blade
plates there.
is so far behind now.
I bet if you look at Shigenda, yeah, sitting on 1,000 gold right now, has that 1.7k lead as well.
Remember,
Already
he
finished
just
Trinity
TP'd
Force.
back into lane.
Right.
Yeah, so
3 plates is a sizable chunk of cash.
Yeah, 4k gold lead for Koi.
In a really strong position. And I think I might be too early in saying this, but I'm not sure this is going to be the fastest best of 5 we've ever had in Europe.
No, Koi fighting back.
And honestly, just we think back to some of the plays that have happened. There was the dive in mid, where Koi was able to secure 2 kills. There was the attempted gank in top lane, with which was countered once again by Maurang. And then there was the gank from Maurang in the bot lane. And this is why we wanted to put so much focus on Maurang. This game, mid, top, bot, he has had impact in every single lane, and he is a massive contributor to Koi's early game success. This, when Rogue last year were at their best, is when Maurang was at his best in the early game, and it feels like that he is very focused, and he does not want to go down without a fight.
Definitely. Fantastic game so far. One thing I do want to just highlight quickly is Broken Blade just used Ghost and ult on the top side against Shigenda.
Okay.
Shigenda wrote XD in ult chat. So he's taunting him a bit. I think Shigenda's feeling it.
And they had their banter before the game started as well. Mickey flashes away hit.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yep, okay.
I think G2 should counter with one of their own now. But they didn't. They didn't.
Maybe they've got the XTD prepared.
Maybe they've got ult chat off, I'm not sure, but
Well,
no
honestly,
response.
Larson with his own emote kind of gave himself a bit of a self-burn. Definitely a high investment in ults, and the Herald is alive, so G2 do have a window where they could look to fight here, but no Hans Summer.
No ult, so yeah, like I said, on mid-jungle. Comp's on the
We'll
way.
see it on Maurang.
Shigenda's on the way, Hans on the way. Both teams want to stall a little bit.
Yeah, Hans is quite far away though. He's only just getting into the G2 jungle. Mickey looking for the hook there as Caps jumps forward, but Maurang immediately dives onto him. And Caps is ticking away. Trimby takes him. Mickey next up as he'll get stunned in the bush. It's a double for Trimby. And even without their ultimates, Koi still come out on top.
I love the way Koi's draft works against G2s, because G2 has to go forwards, Tristana has to go forwards, Nautilus, Olaf, all these champs, and they just put a Heimer turret down. They have a Meganar in your face, and the Azir and Sivir are free hitting. So their dive is kind of like half-assed. They can't really get on top of you, but they need to go in.
G2 find themselves at a pretty significant deficit.
7,000 gold is pretty significant,
and
Betty.
Koi have bounced back incredibly well. The biggest thing for me was the fact that Hans Summer wasn't even in that fight. I think some of the strengths of the composition is their ability to create space and then re-engage. Tristana W can go in and then effectively out. Hans Summer's ultimate is so crucial after the initial engage. You can see Mickey goes in, Mickey tries to follow, Yike and Broken Blade can't really because of the Azir soldiers and Trimby's ultimate that's just sitting in the middle of the river. And with no Hans Summer there to pull Mickey to safety, it becomes a very easy fight for Koi to win. And as you rightly said, it felt like that Koi could just sit back, relax, allow G2 to kind of play the fight for them, and they just did the damage needed to win.
Grab themselves a beverage. 1 minute 30 seconds on this next dragon. I think Koi are going to look to easily contest that and pick that up. But I feel like if I'm G2 here, I think they just take the dragon fight. Even though they're this far down, I think it's just a Hail Mary dragon fight. See what happens. Maybe try to steal it, get an even trading kills. That would be ideal. But yeah, giving this up basically takes away almost all of your win conditions, barring a Baron steal.
With a minute on it, we'll see what G2 can do to set up around it. Currently, only first items. Mythic across the board for them. Caps has a pickaxe alongside that. Comp sitting on a Kraken and a core field, so he's going to be very strong if he gets some time just to get those ricochets off in this fight. Koi with the river control. Broken Blade up towards the top lane. No TP on him means he's going to have to back now and then run down towards this bottom side, where Shigenda's teleport is up in, I say, 25, 30 seconds, so he doesn't actually have to recall. He can continue to apply pressure on the other side of the map, whereas Broken Blade needs to get down to join his team.
30 seconds. Like I said, here comes Broken Blade. Kindle Gem and play the steel caps. G2 trying to get a little bit of mid push here. Caps has sacrificed bot to try to help them out on this wave, but I don't know if they'll get it in. Watch how fast Comp can just blow this. Just WQ through the wave. The wave's gone, and now G2 can't really walk up.
You can see Mickey was looking for something. You know, depth charge onto Comp maybe, but you need to get rid of his spell shields first. No,
Larson could be in trouble if Caps takes this one.
Larson's going to walk towards him.
Caps
goes in. Caps is diving forward in that 1v1 down towards the bottom side. He ults him away with the Buster Shot, or Larson just shuffled away as well. Looks like he used the Emperor's Divide to do it. G2 now using that opportunity, knowing the Azir ultimate is down, to start up this dragon.
Flip it.
They're going to try. Hook goes in from Mickey. Comp going in with the ult. Now Larson's still not in this fight, remember, but Noise Broken Blade. They've locked down Caps. They CC chain him. The Loading Lullaby being used as well. Yike trying to get the damage down on the back line, but Shigenda with a great gnaw across the side manages to isolate G2, and they'll be wiped away in the river. The turning tides in favor of Koi.
Only 2 members full for Koi, the jungle support, but the solo lanes, the carries and Comp managed to pull it off. Broken Blade's alive. He just solo killed Mawang off screen there. Massive sleep from Yike, but no follow-up.
Exactly that. Kadril, Koi dance around the fight beautifully. Broken Blade tried to enter from the north, but Shigenda single-handedly held him off. Mawang solo killed Caps. Like, the fight was just so easy for Koi to play, and you can see how, regardless of the situation, it's so easy for Koi to just pick apart G2 all across the board. It helps that they have such a massive gold advantage, but the way in which they're executing these fights, look at how it starts off initially. Broken Blade can't access the fight. Mickey goes in, and then Caps just gets isolated. Yeah,
Caps gets isolated, gets one popped by Malrang. Shigenda, like you said, zoning away Broken Blade. But look at Yike here. Double sleep onto the bot lane of Koi. Gets a nice Q, but no one can follow up. Hans is kiting for his life, and Broken Blade is solo killing Malrang. So he manages to get Trimby, but that'll be it. Losing your carry at the start of the fight is basically lights out when you're this far behind. Caps not really able to offer much. I feel like every Tristana I've seen has just struggled so much.
It's a situation where Koi's Comp all effectively wants to do the same thing, and you can see how Comp was always playing back with Trimby, leveraging Malrang as that front line. Mickey now forced to flash, trying to escape.
Glacial Prison's going to lock him down, though. Caps might use the Buster Shot on Larson just to distract and distance that Azir from his teammate.
Oh, hang on, Shigenda. No, he's not going to be in any danger. But as I was saying, Koi, their composition is like very straightforward in terms of how it executes and how it wants to play. And it helps that Malrang is having an incredible game right now. And G2, it feels like that there's a lot of isolated situations with which they can't control all of Koi at once. And Koi with this gold lead, they're going to force a 20-minute Baron. There's nothing that G2 can do. Easy secure. And it looks like Koi is definitely going to give behind.
They're looking for the flank here on Yike and Hun Summer.
Larson's going to shuffle.
Larson has the shuffle. Doesn't even need it to get onto Hun Summer, though. Hun Summer will be felled by Malrang and Koi and Comp. Yike trying to get away, but he's shuffled back, though. Loading Lullaby only onto Larson. Pops a stopwatch to make sure that he can't be taken out by anyone, but Caps is nowhere near the fray, nor is Broken Blade, so just a stopwatch to delay for a moment there.
It's not crazy, it's clean play from Koi. They execute incredibly well, they punish the mispositions of G2, they secured the bot tier 2 tower, they have another wave in mid, and they might not make it as flashy as G2, but they make it look easy. 20 minutes in, tier 2 towers already falling with the Baron as well. Koi looking convincing, and a performance that we were very much expecting after their very dominant best-of-3 play in the group stages.
It's an interesting way of bouncing back as well. They just said, we'll go back blue side, we'll run it back, we'll just play scaling, give Larson a mage, not really change anything up too much, but I do remember Sivir was banned by G2 on red side, I think, in game 2, so maybe they thought that leaving it open would be okay with a Kalista match this game, so that's something that G2 might have learned, and they'll probably choose blue side in the next game. But the Sivir just gives so much space to Koi with the Azir, because they can just sit there and wave clear the whole game. Even if they're behind, if they're ahead, wave clear duty for these carries and get towards 2 or 3 items.
I mean, for me, it's just Malrang's impact is just what I think is the the most valuable resource that Koi have at their disposal. What he's able to do with this is running. We saw it in game 1. We're seeing it again in game 3. I think the biggest difference is, again, that bot lane incident that happened in game 1. I wonder how different the game could have been if they entered the mid game in a more even state. As Koi now with the Baron looking to siege onto the tier 3 towers of G2's base.
G2 just TPing bot there. Caps, I think with the Demolish and with the E, he wants to just get as much gold as possible, get the objective bounty, get IE on base now, and then just try to take the next fight.
But you're going to lose so much of your base. Double inhibs going down. Red Bull Baron power play continuing to extend for Koi. Caps continues to push in though, maybe looking for a tier 3. And Demolish going to do a little bit of work, but who can get back? Well, Baron powered recall for Shigenda means he'll be back there pretty quick. Caps will take a second tower off this push. The gold though still almost 9,000 in favor of Koi. Dragon up in a minute as well. They can just set their sights on that. G2 really won't be able to fight it. They are an item behind in basically every role now.
Yeah. Cap should have the eye in base, but yeah, it doesn't really merit the lead of Koi overall. Cap's the only one that's barely close to his opposition. Shigenda's just chasing him, trying to slow down the base because they're trying to push out bot here. You'll see Shigenda chase Caps to base. Comp will push in bot. Larson will push in mid, and then they'll go for that third inhibitor.
And it's what Koi have always been so good at. And it's what won them games against Vitality. It's what's won them games in the past. It's what's won them a championship last year in the LEC. And as much as you say, Vetti, perhaps not as spicy as what G2 can bring us when they get in this position, they are impossible to fell, impossible to put behind.
Here comes the dive.
Looking for it, Mickey hooks a minion, Caps has to flash away, Buster shot coming out as well, looking for the floating lullaby, won't be able to get it, and Mawang doing so much work in this fight, can't be able to walk back to his minion line, but G2 now starting to open up. Broken Blade finds one, Comp has to flash, no flash for Broken Blade, Mickey has one neither, but Mawang might get hooked here, Mickey's still on the chase, super minions in the base of G2, but they are hungry for blood. As Kansama will eventually back away to clear out those minions.
Oh, the dragon is up. No jungler, but something that Broken Blade is going to make a beeline towards. Harsama on his way there. Koi, they overforced the dive. A situation that they had pushing minions top and mid. They just had to bide their time, use their range, chip away at the tower. They had a few seconds left on the Baron as well, but now with Malrang alive, G2, they're going to be forced to disengage. They need their jungler here. And remember, they can afford to lose this, but if they had been able to pick it up, it would have been a nice gold influx to try and close the gap and the deficit that they now find themselves in.
So let's look at the gold. 6,000 deficit now for G2. I think it was around 10, 11,000 5 minutes ago. Koi giving up over some gold to G2, and they lost the bot tier 1, the tier 2, the tier 3, I think, as well, or something along those lines with objective bounties. Now they lost this fight and gave over shutdowns. It looked good though. Shigenda gets the stun, caps his 1 HP, then Malrang, watch him here. Q's past Broken Blade, lands it across the corner, but it's Comp tanking the tower, which forces him back, and then Hansama's free hitting because they were focusing down onto the Lilia. Overstepped by Koi, they juggled the tower for so long that it was doing too much damage. Big shutdowns over to Broken Blade.
Yeah, it was a situation where Koi likely felt that they could just steamroll the fight, and unfortunately they could not. Now the bright side for Koi is that it's not a bad situation to be in, right? You're allowed to make mistakes when you have this type of a gold advantage, so the game is still very firmly in their control, and you see how Comp held on to clearing the minion waves so that he could wait for top and mid to catch up. Now they're entering the base, and now they're threatening the tier 3 tower once again.
Tower nowhere near as healthy this time, nor is Caps down to half already from the arson poke with the soldiers. Mickey looking for something. Broken Blade trying to get onto Comp, but he's just shredded where he stands. Comp continues to kite backwards. He's looking for Larson, but he can't get it. And now Koi can open up. Face call. Pulls back one. Mickey goes back in. Larson with the stopwatch. Yikes, gonna fall. Mickey 2. And Caps and Hansama can only stand and watch. The last defense is not enough. A penta for Comp to close it out and to start Koi's comeback in this series.
Massive step up from the carry of Koi. Second pentakill, I believe. He had one at Malmo. He's got one here as well. And it was a little bit hairy on the first dive, but they managed to pull it off on the second.
Much more patient play. That's true. true. Yes,
Wait, you
all
were
of,
mad at him?
okay, all of this is factually correct, yes, but let's not focus on the game, shall we, gentlemen? G2 back on the blue side. They will be taking Caitlyn away. And
Just watch all the SpongeBob, like, I don't get it.
You said something that really resonated with me, which is
Pineapple?
Koi feel like that they're forced into bans,
Yep.
which is
Draven,
the Draven,
Ashe.
the Ashe, the Elise.
Yep.
Then that potentially leaves the Maokai open. So what do you do?
What do you do?
What do you do?
What do you do is the question. To be honest, I would swap the Ashe ban out for Maokai and just have something cooked up in the bot lane ready for this Ashe
Yeah,
support.
I agree with you, actually.
Maybe play some kind of melee lane and just try to
They've
punish it.
shown that they can pick the Heimerdinger, and I think that you can still do Heimer. I know that Ashe is considered a good matchup into the Heimerdinger.
That's the Ashe ban.
They gave over Maokai again. I think this just stings, doesn't it? So what's the answer? They must have something prepared. Take away the Jace, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Take away the Jace.
I'm gonna say I don't think Caps was the main problem in game one.
I know,
on
but
the
it's just so
Jace.
much poke.
True.
Jace, Varus, Maokai, whatever it is, it's just so impossible to deal with at times. There's the Varus taken away. Nice. They're not going to go Lucian Nami. Get a little bit of poke of their own. No.
Jarvan was banned in game one.
No way. No.
Let's see if Malrang decides that Jarvan is the way to go here.
It's now at the time and the place for a Jarvan. You know,
Well,
Malrang.
Not any Jarvan, but Malrang's Jarvan, I would have, you know, succumbed to that
The
temptation.
main reason why I would have considered it is just because I think if you pair up proper dive, Jarvan very good into champions that don't have that inherent mobility like a Misfortune.
Yeah, but they would
does.
just pick Lucian Nami, I think, and it would just be impossible to get onto Lucian.
That's fair. That's a fair point.
So that's why I think if you want to play Jarvan, playing it later in the draft is fine. Now a Jarvan on 3 would make sense, right? But they're going to go
Right.
Sivir, maybe Renata here for Mickey, some kind of Sivir melee support lane, Sivir Karma, yeah.
Oh, wow. So they're actually going in a very different direction compared to what they did in game one. Remember that this Karma can be flexed. We've seen multiple teams in the LEC do it, and G2 locking this in while you expect it to be in the bot side of the map could potentially move to mid, even though I wouldn't see any, like, right now, any massive value in doing so. As Koi, we expect them to round out with a support of their own. Maybe we actually get to see Trimby on a melee support. Oh, in fact, they're actually going to go for the blind Gnar.
I mean, Shigen did really well on Gnar,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, for sure.
He dodged a lot of ganks, was good in isolation.
Had good ults in the team fights.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that Koi are realizing that comfort and is key right now, having them on just comfortable champions. Larson on the Azir, which I think G2 should. I mean, they did ban it away on the 1-2-3, the Azir and the Sylas, which is his comfort. Is he going to go back to something like the Victor on 4? We will see, but Jace ban is good. Like that a lot from Koi. We'll see if they double target mid here onto Caps. Jax is another one that's on the top of my head.
Yeah, full Broken Blade up towards that top lane, most played across the course of winter. G2 can look towards support bans here if they really want, can also try and pinch the mid lane pool a little bit. Sylas and Azir already taken away. There's the Lulu. Alongside that, Trimby's been very comfortable on, you know, the Nami.
I think... yeah, sorry.
No.
Is Karma a flex here, you think?
I think could be flex top, actually. Broken Blade has played it twice so far. Could be that mid flex that Betty's already mentioned. But what would you... I don't see many things that you need to team up with Sivir that Karma couldn't do. If you want more all-in, maybe you want Mickey on the Nautilus just for engage potential later on, then banning out.
Yeah, so what I think is if they blind Nautilus or Leona on 4 here, Koi, I think Karma Flex Braum is actually pretty good, especially against Vi, if they want to go that direction.
Sure.
I'm not sure how good it is, but it makes it so bot lane is a lot less volatile in terms of needing jungler because, you know, the Karma gets hooked once and can die possibly. But there's the Jax ban.
I think that Koi will pick a Zia here.
It's banned.
Oh, right, yeah, my bad. That was...
Medius.
Well, it's a good thing that they didn't pick a Zia then, isn't it? Yeah, the main reason why I think that they should pick mid here, mainly because I think that it's in their best interest to figure out where that Karma is going, because even if you just pick a control mage mid, the Karma's not going to have any like significant advantage, unless you're really thinking of like an assassin, but that wouldn't make any sense.
Varus support Kalista.
It's Varus support, yeah. He's
Or
got Fritz.
Kalista support with Varus.
Yeah, you could play both. I think Varus support is the one that players tend to lean towards more.
Yeah.
I think the only person I've seen play Kalista support is Keria, to be honest.
Yeah. Not a high bar to hit then, if you're trying to match him.
Yeah, best in the world. You know, it's quite easy to reach. Olaf there locked in for Broken Blade. It's going to be Caps Tristana again. So they're actually running back a similar sort of comp. They've just kind of taken the Sivir away and got themselves a Maokai.
I do think they've made their dive stronger though, compared to last game.
Oh, Ari, great pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, you're right. A lot
like
of
the
extra
Ari.
mobility. Makes it
good
much
in
harder
Tristana.
to lock down.
Yeah, it's a good answer to Tristana, I think. I mean, you get pushed in, but I think the mobility against Olaf Tristana is really important. The only struggle is the Maokai W.
Yeah, and the problem with getting pushed in is Caps has shown us just how much he can roam around the map in this series, and of course, over his entirety of his career. Getting pushed in does mean that Caps is opened up a little bit more on the map, but you do have the protection of, you know, Chain of Corruption down towards that bottom side, the Fate's Call from the Kalista as well. If you get to level 6, top lane Gnar should be relatively safe, even if he's put under a bit of pressure.
So
They've actually kept Trimby on the Kalista. I was expecting comp. Let's not forget that this bot lane from Koi originally was the Kalista Soraka bot lane, right, from last finals. A bot lane that they didn't even practice, they just brought out because they thought that it would be good. Typically, when you think of comp, he is that hyper-aggressive AD carry. He is someone that can go toe-to-toe with Hans Sama when it comes to the early game skirmishes. So the fact that they put him on the Forest is a little bit surprising to me, but it looks like that he will be the primary carry on that. We'll see if Trimby cooks anything up. I don't suppose either of you have seen any support Kalista?
4 supports, actually. 4 support Kalistas for Trimby in solo queue.
Oh, yeah.
2 of them, lost 2 of them. So, likes the Dustblade build with the Umbral Glaive. We'll see if he can bring it out here once again. Has been played a bit around the world as well. We'll see if Koi can continue the reverse sweep and make it 2 and 2.
So, Kalista support. Keria played it towards the start of the split against Damwon when they were in a 1-1 series, or I should say DK+. They've changed their name now. And he's 100% winning on it. He played it last week against Gen G as well. But the other supports, hang on a second, Caps might have to take W here, level 1.
Did have to do it in game 2 as well, game 3 as well.
The other supports like Kellen and Kale, they never really found success on it yet. No one's really won on it apart from Keria in the LCK.
Well, I mean, Keria really the only support that's been finding success on all these different AD carry champions and support, right?
So it's a bit of a hard one to pull off because you have to trade really hard level 1. And what T1 normally do is they stack waves bot and dive. And the Kalista can guarantee the push, and you have double Halo Blades bot, and you just burst him on the tower dive, right?
Yeah.
That's the idea. So Owner will always hover around, they'll force dives. Now, will Koi do the same kind of thing? Because in the other games, when that's actually not the strategy, the Kalista just falls off so quickly, just arrives at a Herald fight, does a little bit of damage, past that point, doesn't really offer anything. So he needs to get this Varus ahead.
Not the conventional style for Koi. Usually they like to try and just scale up towards the later portions of the game. Yikes styling on his bot side camps here. Razorbeaks first for him. Marang's going to get a leashless start on his Razorbeaks. Broken Blade places a ward, so they'll know where the Koi jungler is if he decides to go red next, or even if he doesn't, they know that he's probably on the other side of the map. Spotted out now as he goes around the corner. And Trimby and Comp, let's see how aggressively they want to trade at level 1. Is Cleanse on Trimby, double Hail of Blades as to be expected in the bottom lane. Futures market as well for Trimby. Do see this sometimes on range supports or on AD carry supports, I guess, where you want to be able to get towards those spikes a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and Karma support is actually not bad into the Kalista, because as she goes to trade, if you can hit Q and slow, then obviously she can't attack as much.
Right.
And then once the Halo Blades is off, that's when you can look to trade. So that's why Trimby's being really careful on his Q. So there's the Q, so now it just makes it so only 1 or 2 autos off, right? Ideally, you want to get 3 or 4 off, get the E, and then back away. But they're stacking the waves, but Malrang's not here. They're just going to get ganked by Yike. Will they fall prey to death? As
they see him on the
dies,
ward
the level
now.
up comes in.
Mickey flashes in. Here's the level 2. Combat's to flash away. Trimby trying to dance away from this one as well. Yike puts down a sapling. That will get the slow flash forward with the twisted advance and knock back, and Comp falls prey to the level 1. Trimby takes an answering kill. Trying to turn it around here with the red buff, but does still have to flash, has the cleanse. Mantra W, cleanse away by Trimby. Flashes back,
he
missed the Q! Comp respawns, Marang's on his way down here. Now, what have we got in terms of sums? None for G2's bot lane. Marang stands on a ward for a second.
Look at
You
Caps
gonna
making
look
his
for
way
Caps
down
on
as
his
well.
way
Caps
as
is
well.
moving.
We talked about Caps being able to roam out early. He's doing exactly that. Comp's still sprinting down towards this bottom wave. Wants to catch it before it gets pushed in, and Marang and Trimby have been able to delay it long enough that Comp will get here in time.
Now, G2, they're able to get a kill onto Hans Sama, and ideally they would have pushed this wave underneath the tower so that Comp lost this entire wave, but he was able to get back in time thanks to Malrang and Trimby holding the line. Overall, though, it comes back to what you were saying, Kadril. This bot lane for Comp, Koi rather, wants to get ahead in the early game, but Yike pathed in a way that allowed them to look for an early gank. They force out all of these summoners, and the fact that they get that kill onto Comp means that you're already mitigating a lot of the early power that this Varus Kalista is supposed to have in the early trade.
If he hits that Q, he's dead, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think he is as well, but I think the pain there is, I think Mickey is screaming to go onto comp, but Yike was really hesitant. He eventually flashed W'd him. He could have done it a bit sooner, I think, because I think he might be running Nimmerstoke regardless. He was in range, but then by the time he did it, he took a tower shot. That's why it ended up in a 1-for-1. Should have pulled the trigger faster. Mickey looked really adamant in the play. Didn't want to go for Trimby whatsoever, but yeah, Koi's bot lane, no sums left. Both junglers will need to hover around.
And Marang did path top side to bot side, so now cleaning out his Gromp.
Yeah, look at this bot wave. Koi needs to look for a dive, needs to force something here. This is the power of the Kalista Varus. Stack up the wave. Dive potential is insane. Here comes the dive. Yikes on the top side. If they can pull this off, 2 for 0, this bot matchup is just going to sway so hard into Koi's favor. They ideally want to pull this wave out, get this one in, stack up 3. Any TPs? Caps needs to cover this, otherwise bot lane is over.
Yike is stealing away Razorbeaks while all of this is happening. He won't be able to get here in time. G2, all hands to the pumps, all defense on. Boomerang going out. Looking for the knockup, they can't get to Hans Summer. Instead, they go for Mickey. Comp was taking the tower, but Comp will get one. TP coming in from Caps as he joins the party. He's looking for Comp, and the damage is coming down to bomb! Double bomb from Caps! That's truly a bomber if I've ever seen one. Trimby now retreating away. Caps gets 2. Larson came a little bit late to join the fray, and in the end, the tower dive goes in favor of G2.
You called the teleport, Cadril, and the timing was fantastic. Mickey body blocks for Hans Summer as much as he can. Comp takes the tower aggro, which means that he takes the initial tower shot, and Caps without hesitation dives in, applies the bomb onto Comp, waits for the explosion, and the damage is good.
And you might laugh and say, Malrang, why are you standing on top of Comp as well? Why are you going to tank the bomb? Well, if he flashes to the left, he's just going to get a reset and jumped on top of anyway, right? He's 1 HP. There's no real way he can get out, so can't really fault Malrang for just standing on top of his AD carry there. I think he's dead no matter what. Even flashing over the wall, he can't escape. Now it's G2's turn. This is the old school 2019 meta. You're bot wave stacking, you get dove. Then it bounces, and now we dive you. Yike's trying to threaten it. Malrang's here to cover. Looks like it won't come to anything, but he's holding the wave there. That's going to be a bit of a pain for Hans. Maybe he's going to stop his base here to try to get it in.
Yeah,
and that's when Koi strike.
They look for it. Comp is low here. No flash, no heal. Ignite is ticking, and Comp will fall, but Hans Summer next up. Trimby gets another. Marang chasing in here as well. You can see Yike tentatively thinking, can I join? Not in time. It's a double for Trimby. And who's the AD carry now? The Kalista is online.
Trimby's Kalista mechanics looking clean. Malrang's flash Q was a little short, but they end up securing a double kill onto the bot side of the map, and Koi are staying relevant in this early game. The gold actually in their favor. Caps should be able to secure a plate off the back of this, forcing Larson to commit the TP. But overall, I was very concerned for Koi initially after the struggles that they faced in the early 2 versus 2, especially with the Caps TP down, but they didn't hesitate. They looked to punish Hans Summer and Mickey as they tried to push the wave underneath the tower. And now Koi is definitely in a favorable position as we look back towards bot.
They are, and now my eyes are on Larson. It's time to get involved in this game, buddy. It's been a 4v3 in bot for this majority of the game. Caps coming down level 3, level 4, then the TP to cover the dive. And you can kind of understand why. The Tristana does get the push into the Ahri early on. Level 7, couple points in Q now. He can start to push back. I think Larson is the one who needs to start helping his team. With this level 6 on Vi coming through soon as well. Start trying to punish as a mid-jungle.
I completely agree. Ahri's Q, oh hang on. Caps
He knows there's no jump, so he can just get some free damage in.
Yep. But yeah, Ahri's Q damage is very strong, especially once you hit that level 7, level 9. Should be able to push through these waves, but he's not looking for a roam just yet. Yike is moving into the enemy jungle. Caps is trying to get the push. Top has the push as well, which means that the rest of G2 are here to assist Yike, especially with Mickey in mid-wave as well.
Shigenda looking to trade a little bit here in the top lane. Ragnarok comes out from Broken Blade to dodge away from the Gnar. Lots of damage onto Broken Blade though, and no real minion wave for them. Shigenda goes into the mini Gnar, flashes away. Caps has a flash of his own. Buster shot, explosive is enough. Malrang facing up against Yike down towards the bottom side, and now Yike is on the wrong side of the rift. Looks like it might just be a 1-for-1 trade in the end. Yike was down the Nature's Grasp, but no escape from Malrang. Broken Blade running away. Larson gets a couple of resets. Could look for a little bit more here, but with the undertow connecting, I think Larson will just be looking to catch this wave.
G2's bot lane's here as well. Hans has moved up from bot side. Mickey too. Larson could look to Charm Flash here, but Broken Blade has Flash. He will get out. A couple plates could fall down to Hans here as he hits the mid tower. Herald's up.
So let's kind of look back quickly at how that happened, because G2, they had the push in mid. They also had Karma rotating up towards top first, and it's Caps who's here first on the play. He plays it very well, waiting for the bomb to secure that kill. Then Yike becomes a little bit isolated from his team. as Mickey tries to make his way up to assist. I think at this point, G2 need to be looking at the rest of the map. Maybe they can push another wave in top, but you can see the Sivir in mid lane as well, catching that additional wave, pushing that in, and potentially setting up G2 for a Herald contest as they're already in a position. And look at this. Yike respawns immediately back out onto the map. He goes to mid. They send Tristana down to bot to catch that wave. And they have enough members to secure this objective. So sure, it ends up being a 1-for-1, but you think about what Shigenda ended up losing off the back of that play, on top of the fact that it means a Herald with which G2 can use to unlock more on the map.
I also think the important thing in this game that's different from game 1 is Yike is really far behind. He's not been the winner of any of these kills. He's the only AP damage on this team, so he's going to be really slow in getting towards that Demonic Embrace and Leandry, so that helps Koi out so much in these Dragon fights. And it helps the itemization out just that little bit extra. So cross maps coming in, as you highlighted, Vedi. Dragon for Herald, looking for a few plates down here. I think they ideally want to make sure the Sivir can catch the wave safely on a tower, so Yike needs to make his way down here. Giving gold over to the Olaf is nice, but I think Sivir is their win condition.
And even though Trimby's picked up most of the kills in this bottom lane, you can see Comp actually still top of the leaderboards in terms of gold, close to Caps, close to Hans Sama, but Larssen struggling a little bit, hasn't been able to pick up plates in the mid lane, just constantly trying to catch the waves that are being pushed into him by Caps. Broken Blade will steal away this red. It's much ado about nothing for Malrang. Doesn't really care that Broken Blade is in his topside jungle.
We have to keep our eyes on the mid jungle here for Koi. They look like they want to contest this red buff. The control ward goes down. Larssen is threatening Caps right now, trying to get a bit of chip damage over the wall. And the bot lane needs to get that push so that they can come to assist. Trimby does just that, moving up towards the tri-bush, but they realize Comp, he wants to go back to base, spend some of that money, and they're going to disengage from this situation.
Umbral Glaive on Kalista will help so much on this bot vision. Can clear out everything G2 have, and Malrang.
Oh, 32 HP on it, couldn't get there in time. He's trying to dodge away from all of these saplings, but he may have gone a little bit too far now. He's going to get slowed.
Trouble.
Doesn't have flash, has cease and desist, could go in onto Caps, immediately dives in, the charm coming in as well. They look to isolate Caps. Can they take him down? They can't. Caps on a rampage now. Mickey on the chase, double Spirit Rush available for Larssen, though he'll use those charges to get the hell out of there.
The idea was to create a 1-for-1. Malrang, he overcommitted, trying to steal away the red buff. And as a result of that, they thought that maybe they had enough damage to kill Caps, but the root from Maokai stopped Larssen from being able to use his ultimate, and that meant that G2 could walk away with the kill as Mickey and Hans Sama arrived to the fight.
It's interesting that he dashes over to try to steal it when his bot lane based. Broken Blade diving top.
Red buff Ragnarok going in. Meganar coming out from Shigenda, though. The extra health might be enough. Broken Blade flashes and gets the solo bolo.
What a monster. He knows these limits on this champion so well. Just a slither of HP left, pulls off the 1v1 dive.
Beautifully played by Broken Blade, really knowing the limits of his champion there. And another big advantage gained for G2. Larssen not really having any mana to do much on the map, but he's also going up against Hans Sama, who has so much wave clear, going to be keeping him underneath the tower. Koi find themselves at a slight deficit for the time being. Not the end of the world. But you think about later into this game, the amount of utility that G2 have. Caps goes in onto Comp.
Trimby's on his way, though. Chain of Corruption coming out. They're going to turn it back around with a face call. Caps has nowhere to go in the shutdown. Goes over to Comp. Just funnel the money into his pockets. Mickey next up. They're on the chase and underneath the tower. Mickey can only die. A double for Comp. And what a comeback in the bot lane for Koi.
Koi are alive in this series. Game 2 surely woke them up. Game 3 was phenomenal, and now in Game 4, they are fighting back, and it's through bot lane, through the win condition they had all year long last year. Top side is weak side, and bot lane is the lane to play through, and they're making it work.
And what I love about it is when Hans Sama and Trimby were together on Rogue all those years ago, they were the duo that would do this all the time. They would make that bot lane play in the bush. They'd wait for someone to overextend. We saw Comp and Trimby try it in Game 1, it failed. Now we see Hans Sama and Mickey try it, it fails, and Yike is trying to make something happen in the mid lane. Larssen trying to get away, the Ricochet is not going to do enough damage to fell the Ahri in the mid lane. Koi, though, with a 2,000 gold lead now, coming up to the 13-minute mark, a minute 20 on the Drake. And will look to take their next fight around it.
Comp, he realizes there might be some danger here, but he plays close to the river, pops the heal, throws the ultimate out, which buys enough time for Trimby to get over the wall, flash, ulti, and then set up the play for the Koi bot lane. Comp doing a fantastic job, but who knew that Trimby was such a talented Kalista player? 3-0-4 is the scoreboard right now, and his plays have been instrumental in getting Koi the early lead that they have.
Look at the bot lane lead, 4,000 gold total. Single-handedly carrying the top side right now of Koi. Fans are going wild here in the studio for both of these teams. Game is neck and neck, actually slightly Koi favored, of course. With this next dragon spawning, they should be able to pick that one up pretty easily. The only issue they have right now is top. Struggling a little bit, 2 plates over to Broken Blade in isolation, a solo kill, but in terms of experience, Shigenda is all right. Pause has come through. And the Fnatic fans know that their team has arrived.
One time I'll allow the Fnatic chance today. We'll see if it works as a hack for G2. They can take a moment to breathe. You can see Broken Blade there taking a moment just to evaluate a situation in the game. We'll find out what the pause is for in just a couple of moments' time for Assault. Yep. But what a game it's been. Explosive, to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
This Kalista Varus from Koi, currently definitely in the driver's seat of this game. Next Dragon about to spawn. If they can get 2 on the clock, they're in a very strong position to continue to force fights.
I'm trying to start the game.
Just want to clarify, for those that don't know, Kedril does in fact not possess the power to start the game.
That's what you want them to believe.
No, stop
Betty.
it, man. Stop it.
I'm not a rioter, man. I don't work for as a freelancer. I can spread these facts. We're going to pull back the veil, Vedius, on you red badges.
Or does he possess the power? Let me just start it in the next 5 seconds.
Oh, really? You can start in the next 5 seconds, can you? 5,
Give me 10.
3,
give me 10.
2,
no, give me 10. Let me get to the button stuck.
Get wide. Oh, the button stuck. I'll give you another 5, 4, 3, 2.
Why are you trolling me, buddy? You're supposed to be on my team.
I was trying to help you, and then you said,
later on this episode of Sesame Street, Count Vedius, will tell us how to count from 6 instead of just 5. But just so everyone knows.
Do you want to run through the alphabet again, my friend?
Yeah. Marang's client did crash.
Yeah, I'll do it.
He is back into the game now, so we should be just unpausing it. You're going to do it?
Yeah, there we go. Do you hear the game?
Oh, I do hear the game.
Okay, let me just
Dulcet
let me put the screen on. Let me put the telly on. 1 sec.
Okay. Take your time.
Producers.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you, Pedro. And we're back in. 7-7 the scoreline. 2,000 gold or 1,700 between the two teams right now. Next Dragon up in 70 seconds. And that's what Koi is going to look for.
It's good that this is a best of 5, not a best of 3, because after our 2 first games, we would have been making some wild conclusions about the strength of G2.
It's better than a best of 1 at least, eh?
Better than best of 1 at least, but here we are, best of 5. Koi still have a chance, a fighting chance at that. Mid-wave contest coming in, Dragon is still up, and G2 look like they want to fight.
G2 have position in the river right now. Shigenda with no TP is stuck in top lane. It looks to me like Koi is just going to sacrifice this Dragon, and I think it makes a lot of sense. Perhaps they can cross-map it for a tower in top lane. Larson going to catch the bot wave. Comp and Trimby going to catch the mid one. For the time being, no action will ensue. 30 seconds though on the Herald. Koi is in a good position to be able to secure that one, and maybe they can use it to unlock the mid tower. One thing I will say is sieging against this G2 composition can be difficult for Koi, largely just because you have double AD carry wave clear. One of those AD carries is a Sivir, and you have the threat of a Maokai ultimate. So every time you approach that tower, there is a real world where Maokai can just throw the ulti down and potentially lock you up. So
Cap's going to go in. As soon as you know the charm's down, you can put some damage down. Control will keep Larson safe from a couple of extra auto attacks. Caps with the Gale Force forward though. Everfrost just short. And unsurprisingly, the player with 4 kills in this game comes out slightly ahead in terms of trades.
A lot of damage, isn't there? Caps, even though he's down a level, can look to burst through Larson if he gets in range with 1 more auto and an ultimate. But
also good use of the Gale Force to sidestep some of the skill shots there from Caps. Just great awareness.
However, Malrang's here, and there's a cease and desist.
Yeah.
And he buffered it!
No way can you do that!
Oh my god, what?
That was... I've never seen that before. Wow.
So everyone knows about Tristana W buffers,
sure.
but I've never seen it from a Vi ultimate before.
I've seen it from Ezreal E on Vi.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it from Tristana W. I think the timing is a little bit harder than Ezreal
That
E.
was clean.
So well played by Caps.
Was forced to use his flash there, but at the end of the day, ends up just being a summoner that, not the end of the world for him.
Oh, the button broke again.
I'm sorry, man. We're going to have to hold that button down for the rest of the cast, I'm afraid. We will just work out what's going on. Yeah, not something we commonly see. Unsurprising that it's Caps who continues to surprise us in the LEC. And considering the rest of the series, although he's had a few good moments, the games haven't been about him. This one, very much about how much he can carry from the mid lane here. 4-1 currently on that Tristana. And although the Koi bot lane is ahead, you always feel that Caps can wreak havoc when it comes to a team fight.
Definitely can. Especially in a team fight where it's very front to back heavy. He's got a Sivir by his side this time, doesn't have to super commit next to things like the Nautilus. With the Karma by his side, he can play the team fights a little bit slower, not have to just dive in there and see what happens.
And you've got Broken Blade just sprinting at the enemy team as well during a fight, right? Ragnarok, run at the AD carry, see what you can do. Gives Caps and Hansam a little bit more freedom, a little bit
Make
more
it sound
space.
so easy. You just right-click them.
I mean, yeah. Like, Olaf as a champion can be very complex, but at his essence, he is press R, right click.
True, but hitting the axis is
Oh yeah, that's the complicated part.
Yeah.
But
Once you hit the axis, that's when you are a standout Olaf player. And Broken Blades took a page out of Adam's book recently and said, you know what? It's broken.
Yeah.
And no one else thought the same.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, I always get mad at pros because there's how many champions?
160 something, I think. I'm going to say 165, but I might be wrong.
And they sit there and they go, there's only 3 playable champions in the whole game.
It's true.
Sorry, that's it. It's not true. You know it's not.
It's a fact.
It's not true.
I mean,
it's like
Betty-
you trying to tell me that Lee Sin is the only viable jungler. You
terrible.
know that's not.
Can't
what,
play it.
You,
Right. 50s again, more buffs. I mean, its win rate went up, but more
do you know,
buffs.
like, I stand by the fact that, you know, I did introduce Nocturne into professional play, you know, and no one thought that it was good. I was telling them for years, and then what happened? It became pick ban,
So he
first
got
pick,
buffed,
top
didn't it?
lane.
So his passive killed creeps
Yeah,
faster.
I will
and then
also
they
say
could
that
from the
that's what
waves.
they nerfed.
Complaining about their pro players only playing a few different champions.
Yeah.
When you were Nocturne mid one trick.
Yeah, but it's,
for
I'm not
many
a pro
years.
player. You know what I mean?
You were a pro player.
Well, okay, yeah.
I
like,
cast you
that
in
was-
a professional game of League of Legends.
That was like 10
lost that
years
game.
ago.
10 years.
Maybe because you weren't playing Nocturne mid. That may be the issue.
Yeah, no, I was a big Ari advocate back
Yeah.
in the day. I was a good Ari.
You played Katarina for a short time as well?
No, I didn't really.
Okay.
I always wanted
is
to
that
play.
more like you tried to play
I always
Katarina, but the
wanted to play
buttons never
Katarina,
really-
and then I never actually could play Katarina.
Okay.
There was an
we do-
opportunity there, you see, for me to make fun of you, and then I didn't. See? Growth. That's what I like to see
You have an
on the
opportunity there?
desk.
Sorry, I wasn't really paying attention to what you were saying.
Oh, no, I wasn't saying anything. That's probably why you weren't paying attention. A peripheral issue for Larson right now. We're just sorting things out. I do think we have a replay of the Tristana jump, so he can be doubly surprised. You know,
Okay.
the buffered
Sure,
one.
give us a replay.
Marcus said that perhaps we could bring that up. And now that I've called him out specifically,
He knows he has to
doesn't
do it.
come up. Everyone's going to tweet at Marcus, even though that's not his Twitter username.
Just some random person.
at Marcus.
And he starts
Why
trending.
would you do this? Why have you not started the game?
Just starts trending on Twitter. Who's Marcus?
I wish we had that much power.
Ah, interesting.
But we'll see if it comes up. If it doesn't,
Will we
can just
see?
keep talking. Well, hopefully we will see.
I feel like you muted there and I got muted too. Something just happened weird in my headset
It
when
might
you
be
talked there.
okay,
Did it
so
happen to
it
you
might
too?
be someone-
It did, yeah.
It did, right?
What happens is, when producers talk to us, everything else gets muffled.
Yeah, I didn't hear them though.
So, yeah, sometimes they press
so
the
what
button by
happened?
accident,
Yeah,
and you
that's
get
what
muffled.
happened.
Or they're trying to talk to you, and you're
Right.
about to talk, so they then don't want to talk over you.
I see, right. That makes sense.
I think we're getting into games soon. I can see
Oh,
the
why
players.
would you say that? That's
that,
like, I
man?
taught you
That's
this like 2
doomed.
years ago.
Okay, let's
that
see if
you're
it,
not
let's see if it
supposed to
works
say
then. Let's see.
that.
I'm going to say the players said ready, and they're going to start the game.
We're going to start the game in a couple of seconds, Cadril.
I think so too.
How many? Yeah.
6.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I had
So
to put,
Medic has the button!
It was Medic all along.
Medic has to start the game!
I was his ghost. He was my ghostwriter. It was Pedro and Metro.
All right, let's take
get
stock of the
back,
game.
yeah.
We're 16.5 minutes in. The goal is pretty much even. Small advantage for Koi. We're even in Drakes, even in Towers. Koi found themselves a game down right now, but definitely in a position where this game is winnable.
It's always winnable. Vedius not over until the next explodes. The energy in the studio here is electric. All the fans just screaming their hearts out. And now it's just a mid-wave contest again. I feel like I said that the last time the pause came through, but it's the same scenario we're in. 1-3-1. Both teams just looking for a little bit of mid-push, a little bit of vision, and there's no real neutrals to play over right now. But Larson,
thanks for the charm onto Caps. Caps can just jump away if he so desires. Instead, orders
So,
the control ward a
well,
couple of times.
Larson now has kill threat onto Caps. And Caps is going to respect that, so he's just going to back away.
Doesn't have any vision on the bot side either, so like another Vi could be waiting in the bush. You could have Chimby there. Both of them are down towards that bottom side. G2 did do a good job of taking the last 2 neutrals, though. They secured themselves the Dragon and had the Rift Herald sitting in Yike's inventory. About a third of the timer down off of that. Doesn't really get you too much, apart from, you know, the charge. There's no plates left for you, but if you take this mid tier 1 and with 4 members strong, you could push in for a tier 2, or you could just use it later on around the Dragon timer to try and get yourself some mid priority.
The poke is strong from Comp. We could see the amount of damage he was able to unload onto Mickey. Of course, there is a 5-level difference, which does contribute, but G2 continue.
Oh! Mickey flashes away from the Gnar, then use the Mantra W with the poke from range. The healing from the W, he gets away. Mickey walks out of it.
no way.
Wow. Incredibly close there for Mickey. He was able to flash away from the Mega Gnar ultimate just at the right time. If that had connected, he definitely would have lost his life. Comp, though, with the Q and the W, didn't quite have enough damage to secure the kill, which means that nothing really going to come off the back of that. We're now waiting for the next major objective to spawn. They know that, well, Koi, I should say, know that they can move into the enemy bot side jungle, get a bit of deep vision down, maybe look for a pick. The Vi Ari combo, very easy to set up for Ari to land that charm and look for a pick.
Definitely is, and that's the power of those two champions in the mid game. They're looking for that pick onto Caps, but it looks like Mickey's the one covering it off, making sure that the mid laner G2 is safe. Broken Blade looks like he landed an axe, but Shigenda's going to come out of the Mega Gnar form and get a little bit of move speed. So yeah, I think the game's just quieting down a little bit until this next dragon. 50 seconds on the spawn. I think Koi is pretty happy to take the fight now, I'd imagine. This is probably one of the points where they're strongest in terms of raw champion matchups against G2. You know, the Sivir doesn't really have her IE or Navori completed, wherever it may be. The Tristana also doesn't have it completed. So I think this is going to be the fight that Koi takes.
I wonder how far Hansama is away from that Navori, though. It's only sitting at 300 gold right now, so does still need a little bit in his pockets. Tristana as well. 1.6k there, though, for Caps, but he does need to finish Zerkers and IE if he wants to get to that 2-item power point. Might just back finish off the Zerkers here and get himself the pickaxe. So almost at that Infinity Edge, but with 9 seconds on the Drake, he won't have it in time. Riftailed goes down towards the bottom side of the map. You can see Malrang hovering around this tower. Broken Blade's going to push it in. And that will be a tier 1 falling. Dragon starting, Malrang going in. Look at the Caps once again. Once again, the buffer jump. Nature's Grass coming out as Yike tries to lock up Larson, but off towards